Hola, buenos días, es Nico.
Quang quang, quang 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 quang, quang 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 quang. Breaking news.
So today, I didn't post on Friday, but I actually have a video done and it was ready to upload, and it was about me sometimes not posting, which is funny because I didn't end up posting it, but that was because I was at work and the timer went off and I was like, I don't have time for this foolishness. Because, long story short, you'll get the video on Friday. It explains everything. I don't feel like rehashing that shit. We're here to talk about Dababy. Before we get started, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on Patreon at patreon.com/Nico'sAesthetics. Help me support the channel. Boop. If you like thirst traps, make sure to follow me on Instagram.com/Twitter.com/Nico'sAesthetics. And if you like violence, follow me on Twitter.com/Nico'sAesthetic. Twitch, Nico's Aesthetics. Y'all know I barely Twitch anymore. A bitch be busy with an actual second job. I got bills to pay. I gotta make this money. But let's get started because I know y'all be clicking out. Essentially, I'm here to talk about Dababy. Dababy, Tory Lanez, T.I., he is clinging to relevance by trying to be very pro-black, and it's giving Hotep energy. It's giving toxic Hotep energy. Nico, what do you mean? Essentially, heterosexual cishet black men do not want equality. They want privilege. They want the white man's privilege. If you notice, they oppress and devalue black women. They oppress and devalue black LGBT members. But when it's time to rally behind a cause, they expect us all to stand and be a body in the crowd for numbers' sake. So, getting that out of the way, the big issue about why Dababy is going viral, because, I personally never listened to Dababy. His songs are repetitive. My sister's husband sometimes put on his music. I don't really tune into that shit because it doesn't pique my interest. It's just misogyny and flexing. Like I said, his songs are repetitive. He looks like he bites. He hits women. He's a very violent man. He has toxic masculinity within the black community personified. I don't understand why people are really shocked and or surprised that he did this. I mean, obviously it took everybody out of left field because essentially he got on stage and was like, women, if your pussy smell like water, put your lights up. Fellas, if you're not sucking dick, if you don't have HIV or AIDS or some other STD that is going to kill you within 2 to 3 weeks, his words verbatim, put your lights up. It was just a very random homophobic and misogynistic rant that wasn't necessary, especially since the rolling out crowd, they were just there to have fun. And you know what? It was an immediate backlash. You want to know why? Because not only did he sneak an abuser on stage. Tory Lanez is an abuser. He shot Megan Thee Stallion and is currently in a court case about it. An abuser on stage to spite the woman that he has a career relationship with, meaning most of his top songs are with Megan Thee Stallion. So it's like, because I personally did not watch the performance because both of them are not my cup of tea, Tory Lanez and Dababy. But from what I was told, his song set was Megan Thee Stallion, he snuck Tory Lanez on, then another Megan Thee Stallion song. Obviously, she was not performing with him because they are no longer cool, because he partnered with the man that shot her for whatever reason. And I know people are like, oh, industry loyalty isn't real because Megan wasn't loyal to Nicki and blah, 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 blah. Collaborating with someone who threw a shoe at somebody is one thing. It's tacky and in poor taste. Collaborating with someone who shot your industry coworker who you were supposedly cool with, been on multiple media tours with it's like, it doesn't make sense. It's not even a factor of loyalty anymore. It's a factor of y'all don't protect black women, but y'all expect black women to put their lives on the line for black men. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because it's getting to the point where it's just blatant disrespect, and not even getting on the situation with Megan Thee Stallion and Dababy because that's not what we're here to talk about. But I just want to show y'all that cishet black men do not value anyone that is not a cishet black man. Just as soon as we get that into perception, we're gonna be able to move forward. So, getting onto the homophobic rant, people are saying, oh, you know, that just means Dababy outed himself and some trade just made him mad and blah, 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 blah. And I admit, sometimes, a good amount of the time, some people that are extremely randomly homophobic do have something that they're battling internally. But at the same time, some people are just hateful. And it's a dangerous rhetoric to say, oh, you're just secretly gay if you're homophobic. No, some people just have hate in their hearts. Like, I want y'all to realize that. Could Dababy be swinging, peeing, wherever the fuck? Maybe. I don't know. I don't really keep track of that nigga. But either way, it's a dangerous rhetoric to say anybody that's homophobic just really wants to be gay out loud. Because it's a twisted narrative. It's a twisted narrative. Not to mention, I don't understand why T.I. felt the need to inject his abusive ass into this situation. He is currently going through multiple court cases about... I can't say this shit on YouTube. It's like I can't say it on YouTube about drugging and SAing women with his wife Tiny. So it's like, if you have tons of abuse and drugging allegations coming against you all across the city of Atlanta, all across the states, bitch, I don't want your input. Because he had the nerve to say, if Lil Nas X can exist as a queer artist and not be hidden in a cloak of shame, then Dababy should be able to be outwardly homophobic. That's exactly what his words translated to. So, as we've taken notice, cishet black men can randomly be homophobic, hate-filled, spew toxic rhetoric against our community, but they expect us to come together for them. They'll stick together with each other to continue to spew this rhetoric and defend one another when they get into the hot seat. But they still expect our queer, our bisexual, gay, female, male, in-between, non-binary asses to be on the front lines for them. And that's where I say no. Because obviously, black lives don't matter to y'all if all black lives don't matter. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna defend none of these niggas. I hope they get roasted. I hope he get blacklisted. Because one thing you need to realize in 2021, Dababy, is that if you want to make it mainstream, you cannot be homophobic. If you want to make it mainstream, you cannot, especially within our current social climate, where the LGBT community is not only influential within the music industry, Hollywood, the makeup industry, the beauty industry. Not only that, but just cancel culture. Because though I agree cancel culture isn't necessarily real, as in this person will no longer cease to exist just because they are canceled, it will definitely limit your career. And I hope that's what happens to him. Because so far, I see so many of his co-workers and industry associates coming out and saying, I don't agree with that whatsoever, and I'm distancing myself, and I'm not gonna work with it. And that's what he fucking get. Because once again, it was unwarranted hate. Obviously, y'all know how I feel about public sex, but if you're not bothering nobody, if you in a distant parking lot with a tinted window, bitch, suck some dick for all I care. As long as you're not scarring somebody, I personally do not care. As long as nobody sees it. My thing is, when bitches get blatant with it, then it's just disrespectful and you should be locked up. I just can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. And you know, I was on a hiatus, and as soon as I came back, I just got added. And Nico, did you see this? Did you see? I don't tune into the fucking baby. Why would I tune into that shit? It's giving mediocrity. It's giving mediocrity. He doesn't even give what the girlies give. Because my thing is, this is why I support female rappers, because they come with visuals, they come with bars, they have to be the whole package to make it past what mediocre male rappers get just for existing. That's why I respect female rappers a lot more. So, when it comes to Dababy, I don't know if he's secretly gay. I'm not one of those people that's behind that rhetoric because it's toxic and it gives an excuse for people that just have hate in their hearts. Some people are just raised to hate people. Like, it's not hard to understand. Like, homophobia, same as racism. Some people are just raised to hate one another for their differences rather than coming together for their similarities. And I'm not gonna attribute that to him possibly being secretly gay. Could Dababy like some dick on the side? Could he be sucking dick in parking lot? Possibly. Because, you know, DL culture is real because of the toxic masculinity and homophobia within the black community. But I'm not just gonna put that label on him and give us all a bad label just, oh, well, if we aren't out, we're homophobic and angry inside. No, I'm not signing up for that shit. So yeah, once again, Dababy, I'm glad he's getting canceled. Because once again, he may have his core audience, but he will never grow past that at this point. Especially because he has been universally condemned for what he just said on this stage because it was unwarranted. And I'm so glad that somebody tried to hit his big teeth ass with a fucking Adidas. Somebody threw an Adidas at that bitch face and he barely evaded it. That's what you fucking get. That's what you get for not only being disrespectful to black women who he has abused. He has punched black women in the face, and not enough people talk about that. Like, if we look at some of his live occurrences, a black woman touched him on the shoulder, I believe, and he punched her in the face. He's a very violent man, and I'm glad that this toxic masculinity culture is finally being pushed out because, once again, we are not standing up for you just because we're black men, because you do not stand up for us. You understand? Like, the reciprocation is not there. I remember I just watched the Funky Dineva video. I know, that's my girlie. I love watching her. She follows me on Instagram. But I just watched that video and I couldn't agree more when she said something that was a little controversial, where she said, I might get a little flack for this, and I'm not saying that I won't face racial discrimination against the police, but when we're marching for these Black Lives Matter events, we're not marching for people like me. We're not marching for the Lil Nas X's. We're not marching for Funky Dineva. We're not marching for Santana. We're marching for niggas like Dababy. Niggas like Dababy that walk around with toxic masculinity, the personified hood culture. You know, we're not walking around for the everyday LGBT black community member. You know, that's not who we're marching for, because though we do face racial discrimination, we're not the target demographic for it. You know, they usually target Black and brown people that are not in well-off financial situations or are part of rap culture or are part of popular black culture. So it's like, we aren't the targets, yet we're marching for you because we accept that we are unified. You know, we are a black community and we're marching for our overall well-being because we are one as a community. You don't see any other community, white, Latino, you don't see them doing this shit. I mean, obviously homophobia exists in each community, but you never see Latino artists or white artists just randomly be homophobic on a worldwide stage with no prompt, with no provocation. It was just random hatred. So once again, we be marching not for us because we not the ones that are in mass danger. We be marching for niggas like you and we get nothing in return. Black Lives Matter, you remember when it originally started and it had a co-founder that was LGBT member, and black men, cishet black men turned against the organization because they didn't want to be associated with a gay man? Like, do you see the issues that we go through when we even fight for you people? So no, I'm no longer fighting for cishet black men. Y'all will probably see me at less protests because I was protesting, when the pandemic had just kicked into effect. I forgot unfortunately there have been so many murders by the police that I can't even remember everyone, but I was marching, and I'm not gonna do that anymore just because I feel like as a black and brown LGBT person, we don't get the respect that we deserve within the community no matter how much we contribute, and it's blatant at this point because people within the black community felt the need to say, if someone can be outwardly gay and live in their truth, then we can be outwardly homophobic and attack them for no reason. Because another thing before I go, HIV is not a gay thing. People are born with HIV. HIV is transmitted to women, heterosexual men, not just because someone is on the D-low, but multiple, D-low, not just because somebody's on the down low, but multiple circumstances such as drug use, unprotected sex. Like, it's not a gay disease. So while Dababy has a baby mama, another baby mama, he just got yellow bonus, what he want? Pregnant, a baby mama, meaning you're not using protection, meaning you are at risk for HIV. Because the black and brown gay communities, we are slowly being educated on not only PrEP, but also protection. Most heterosexual people that I know don't even get tested because they don't feel like they're in danger. There's a blanket of ignorance within the heterosexual black community that we should definitely address when it comes to sexual health. But once again, we are not the ones at high risk at this point. Like, we all need to sit back, destigmatize HIV, STDs, and getting tested, and actually take care of our own sexual health rather than spewing random hatred towards a community who has done nothing to you. Dababy has gay fans. Could you imagine being a gay fan in the audience paying your $600 for this fucking Rolling Loud ticket, and this nigga had the nerve to get on the stage and be homophobic against you? Bitch, I'd throw an Adidas too. Yes, I would. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm sorry if I ranted a little bit. You know, I already took my anxiety medication, so I don't have a filter right now, so it's just popping out. But yeah, definitely drop your opinions on the situation in the comments, because I want to have a dialogue in this, because at this point, I'm tired of it. I'm not supporting nobody no more. I'm not, unless you're a black woman, unless you're a brown woman, unless you're a black or brown femme, unless you're a black or brown LGBT member. Bitch, I'm not supporting you. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting my neck out on the line for somebody that's gonna cross me. It's not worth it. So yeah. Boop.
And once again, a quick thank you to all my patrons on Patreon, and a quick shout out to my third eye tier patrons. Your support means everything to me and helps me do this a lot more smoothly. I will also be listing this week's live stream topic in case anybody wants to join in on the fun. I will see you guys there.